Good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Crummell. Welcome to ABC 27 News at Noon. A 6-week stalemate at the State House appears to be ending today. A special session began at noon. State reps are back in Harrisburg, but will they get anything done? Dennis Owens is live at the state capitol in Harrisburg with the latest. Good afternoon, Dennis.
Good afternoon to you, James. That's always the big question. I wish I had a concrete answer for you, but alas, it is the state capitol. I do not. We are told that Speaker Mark Rozzi sent out a copy of Rozzi rules for the special session late last night to rank and file lawmakers. Will the chamber vote to adopt those rules? That's unknown at this point. Actually, there are lots of unknowns, and that's been the case for the past several weeks here at the State House. What we do know is that 3 Democratic state representatives from Allegheny County will be sworn in today, and that will cement a narrow 102 to 101 majority for the Democrats, the first time in 12 years they have had control of the chamber. We also know that Speaker Mark Rozzi wants to focus on both a law and a constitutional amendment to let survivors of childhood sex abuse sue their abusers beyond the statute of limitations. Will both sides get their act together, push forward the bill and the amendment, and get it through the House? That's very much unknown right now. We also know there are lots of hard feelings over the past 6 weeks of inaction under the so-called compromise speaker, who was never able to get session up and running. Republicans are frustrated that they've been, in essence, sidelined for the past 6 weeks and say they should have been working, doing the people's business. Democrats, however, are calling it a new day. They say after a dozen years in the minority, they will be pushing forward Democrat priorities that they say have been silenced for the past dozen years. I can tell you in some of the hallways, James, there are boxes piled up outside of various offices. A switch has been made. Democrats are now caucusing in the majority caucus room, and Republicans have moved elsewhere in the building. So that has physically happened. We're expecting the so-called special session to commence this week. As I said, do they adopt the rules? Do they take on those bills that Mark Rozzi wants to help survivors of childhood sex abuse? That, we believe, is the plan. James, we think there's a second part of the plan. Mark Rozzi wants that to get done this week. If it does, perhaps he gives up his speakership next week. But that is crystal ball stuff. That's next week's stuff. We're still focused on today, James. So it's Mardi Gras here at the State House. We do have the lawmakers here in the building. What exactly gets accomplished? Well, stay tuned for that, my friend.
I mean, it is a good step, though, to see that people are there behind you. For the past few weeks, nothing's been going on there behind you. Locked doors and just you standing in there. And I was going to ask you about, you did briefly touch on this, the whole leadership in the Democratic-controlled House. What is the latest with that?
Well, the deal is this. There are a lot of rank-and-file Democrats that hope that Joanna McClinton, the majority leader at the moment, becomes the Speaker of the House. That is their intention. It all comes down, however, to votes. Who's got 102 votes to strip Mark Rozzi of his speakership, and are there 102 votes to install Joanna McClinton? That is still very much up in the air, but I can tell you there are, I just lost my AirPod. Thank you. There are a number of rank-and-file Democrats that want to see that happen sooner rather than later. But we shall see. It all comes down to the votes, and you have to show up here to vote. Still don't have a sense of, is everybody here right now? Not sure of that. We're going to see when they go on the floor here shortly.
Dennis Owens, live for us at the state capitol in Harrisburg. Thank you very much for that report.